The Frames Per Second podcast.
What up, though? This your boy BZ430. I know if you guys listen that's on the Frames Per Second feed, you wondering like, what the hell? Who is this? Who is this man here? Who is this? But yes, this is your boy BZ430 talking with the fellas. I wish I had Granddad with me, but you know he's here in spirit. But I got the good brothers Ken and Jalen here with me.
Yep.
We're going to talk about, this is kind of like a Frames Per Second dead end gaming mashup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Since I knew these two brothers was going to watch it and they're part of Frames Per Second and me being a part of dead end gaming, I'm just like, let's mash this up. So you're watching this, you're watching this because you're looking at our dead end gaming YouTube channel, and for your listeners, wherever you get your podcast, Frames Per Second. So shout out to the good folks at Frames Per Second. But yes, we are talking about the animated video game Super Mario Brothers. 30 years. If y'all remember that Mario Brothers movie that came out in 93 with Bob Haskins.
I've been hearing about it, but I didn't.
And Dennis Hopper. Boy, that thing was like, when you talk about some of the worst video game adaptation movies, live action movies, that's probably up there with Street Fighter. Like it's like some of the worst movies, like for real.
So even when we're talking adaptation, is it worse than the adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender 2, though?
Way worse.
It's way worse than that,
bro. It's probably number one or number two, bro. Like it came out in 93. If you get a chance, watch it.
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
Just watch
if it's worse than Last Airbender from M. Night Shyamalan, I am not giving it a try.
Watch it for comedy purposes. You're gonna get a good laugh.
Okay.
How horrible that this movie was done.
All right.
And mind you, this is 93. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, the game was on fire. So you would think they would have tried to get that right. Yeah. But no, horrible, man. But I'm glad when I saw the trailer for this, I'm glad they was like, okay, they doing animated, because it seemed to kind of work with Sonic a little bit. Like, Sonic is CGI mixed with live. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'm glad they kind of doing this the whole full animated version of it. But just off the top, what y'all think of the movie, Ken? What you think of it? Just a quick like it, didn't like it, thought it was straight.
I thought it was straight. I went in blind, and when it comes to movies like that, I typically like to judge the response of my kids. I felt like there were things that were going on in the movie that I didn't remember or couldn't connect to, or didn't kind of hit me the way it probably would have hit some people. So that's probably affected my viewing experience. But for the most part, I thought it was fine. I had some laugh out loud moments. I enjoyed it. The story was a little weird for me.
Yeah. I'll touch on that in a second.
But all in all, I think it worked, and I think it was good to kind of go back and revisit this from what they did in 1993.
Yeah. What about you, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Ken. I watched it with my nieces. I took them to the movie theaters, which I really enjoyed doing it with them. Would never see a film that I like a Pixar film that I'm a Pixar fan. Yeah, I wouldn't go see it. They were loving it. So
really?
Yeah, they were loving it.
Do they have any connection with Mario Bros. The game?
No, but now they want to. So
now they want to play it.
They want a Mario toy. They want to know more about Mario and all that. So I'm gonna try to help them with that. But
what was your introduction to Mario the video game? Like when you got hip into the video game?
My uncle had a Nintendo when I was real young.
The NES.
Yeah. And I remember watching him play it. And I had to be like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. I remember that because I remember like the dungeon part and him playing it there. But then when I finally actually became a part of it, Nintendo 64.
That Mario 64 was your
the Mario Kart.
That was your introduction.
That was my true introduction to Mario. So yeah, even now again, my little cousin, they have like Nintendo Switches. And I'll play every now and again because Mario is forever, bro. Like it's just gonna be forever.
Yeah.
And so watching the film though, it was pretty good. Like it was nothing extravagant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have any expectation of it being like some deeper meaning or something like that. They just were supposed to capture the essence of Mario, and I think that's what they did, and it was good.
Yeah, for me, it was. I'm kind of like on the same boat as y'all. It was like I think I actually kind of liked it a little more than I anticipated. It was a couple of dope little callbacks and stuff throughout the movie that they was doing as someone that's been playing Mario since since '85. You know what I mean? Like since I've been playing Nintendo, bro. Like so the doop like that was my first time playing Mario Brothers. So yeah, they definitely went back. Ken, I know you talked about the story wise. I think the story was a little different because most Mario movies you saving princess. Like you gotta save princess because King Cooper is like, I mean Bowser is like, this is my woman or whatever. But this one, I think the twist of him and Luigi getting twisted up and Luigi going into the dark side and him holding him hostage, King Cooper, Bowser holding Luigi hostage, and Mario got to save his brother, and Princess is like the ride or die chick. Like she would be what Luigi would be in a video game, where it's like, yeah, we got to go up and save Princess, we got to get her. Yeah. She's like the, no, we got to get your brother back and da da da, because I don't want to marry this dude and da 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 da. So I thought that was a cool little remix of the story. You know what I'm saying? I guess they didn't want to keep it too entrenched in the video game. But yeah, I think, the whole Brooklyn, them being in New York, I never thought of it playing Mario, but I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense. All the sewers, all the pipes. It was just like once they brought New York into the picture, I'm like, okay, that I can see that. That kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So
they try to ground the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to do it that way, especially with like the idea of making it an anime film for kids to enjoy, trying to like add that piece and then making it like some imaginary place that they go to.
Right.
I feel like that worked well for the story. The jokes didn't hit for me as much though. I feel like some of the jokes were just too.
It was too rated G.
Yeah. Like
I was hoping we would get a little, because I'm pretty sure they know that guys my age and older has been known about Nintendo Super Mario Brothers since a long time. So you would think they would have had a little bit of jokes. They had a little bit of adult innuendo in it, a little bit, but yeah, it was definitely a very, very kiddish, jokish.
It was. Yeah. And I guess the Brooklyn thing definitely threw me off a little bit because I was like, I don't know if I remember this, or maybe it came after I stopped playing.
Yeah.
And them going to, so this is, so in my head I'm thinking like, this is how we end up in Super Mario World. But yeah, I think one of the ones that I found funny, I don't know why, but that damn dog, bro. That
was funny in the beginning.
When that bug walked in that door and he closed that door with his back foot.
Yes.
I was
like, I'm about to get your ass now.
That dog, the way he looked at it when he stepped on the toy first,
he was like,
that shit was funny. They definitely over-indexed a lot on the Mamma Mia thing. They did it, over and over again. Which I guess that was his thing.
But it's cool that they made it because, they're Italian American. So, that was a good
Which is funny because I don't know our Italians thing, but it was like, hey, we're Italian, but we're not Italian. Right. That was the conversation happening at the dinner table. So it's like, I don't get it. What are they faking or are they? You just don't want them to do that or not? I don't know.
I think they were just probably so Americanized, probably to the point to where you wouldn't tell it wasn't like drenched in it. So I think that's how I took it from the dinner table. Like it's like, we're so Americanized.
So speaking of the Italian aspect, like I know I mentioned this before about Chris Pratt being Mario. Did his voice acting do it for y'all as Mario?
It didn't bother me. I mean, it was to a point where I almost forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, he is doing the damn voice acting. But
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it didn't. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, that was like one of the big stories when it was first announced and it was first like starring Chris Pratt. Like, that was definitely the talk. But it didn't bother me like as I was watching the movie that much. It didn't.
It just didn't feel right, and it's not like I know I've said earlier, like
a lot better than that '93 movie.
I said something about it's weird having him do it, but I think the main thing is just when I listened to the trailer, it just didn't feel Mario enough. You know what I'm saying? Even though Mario doesn't talk a whole lot,
right?
The feeling of Mario. It just didn't have the Mario energy to me.
Yeah, we didn't really start hearing Mario voice until 64. Really, because the old Nintendo games, you never heard Mario talk. You just saw like words reading and stuff and him talking. But like 64 was when you kind of started hearing, they started putting a voice to Mario.
Gotcha.
It was some of the voices when I watched the end credits. I was like, oh, they did that voice. Oh, they did that voice. I was like, okay, cool. I would have to go back and watch. And then, see, I don't like knowing that because then all I hear is that person's voice.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like the characters. So. Speaking of, I did like what they did with the princess, making this woman's empowerment thing and not having her be
like this dandruff and distraction.
I like that angle that they did, and I thought that was really, really dope.
That wasn't in a video game either. I'm like, okay, so this is her town, like this is her world. Like this is her domain.
She wasn't messing around.
Yeah,
either.
she wasn't messing around. So that's what I'm saying. That was definitely different from from the video game, and that was cool how we got introduced to Toad. How he, because that was one thing. I'm like, okay, are they gonna have a lot of the characters that we familiar with in the Mario world? You know what I'm saying? So that
Toad kind of disappeared in the third act though. Like at the end of the movie, it was like Toad wasn't really around anymore. So again,
I mean, he was on the when they did the kart thing, the Mario Kart thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so after the kart thing, they went to the wedding, and then when they went to New York, like he kind of disappeared from the story after that. But
that's how it is in the game too. Really, Toad, I mean, once it's down to nitty gritty, you don't got Toad with you. It's all Mario and Luigi at that point.
Yeah, but for the princess, I'm wondering because there has to be a sequel. This thing made so much money, and like it's like one of the biggest animated films worldwide ever.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's like it made like almost 400 million in this.
I just looked it up, 377 million.
Yeah, so
it's
gonna have a sequel. So I'm wondering, with us talking about the princess, they kind of hinted at her just coming to the world out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're gonna talk about that a little bit more because they didn't really go. They gave us a nugget of like she showed up in the Mushroom Kingdom.
They did.
And I'm wondering if they're going to try to touch on that a little bit more because she went to Brooklyn.
Yep.
And now they can, like Luigi and Mario can go back and forth to Brooklyn. I'm wondering if they're going to try to. I don't know. I don't know Mario enough to know where they can go next with this. Obviously, they're going to go somewhere next because they made so much money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm curious if they're going to touch on that a little bit more than.
I am so glad we definitely got Donkey Kong in here. I was wondering if we was going to get. Because really, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to have to research this, I think our introduction of seeing Mario, period, was on the Donkey Kong game. Like when you played the Donkey Kong game, I don't know if you ever saw the old Donkey Kong games where you
throw the barrels down.
That was before that was before. So like really, and then you had the Mario Brothers where you had the little pipes. It was only the pipes in there, and that was it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit! I'm thinking. I feel like I can see it in my head. Yeah. But I might be making it up.
Nah, it's actually, as soon as I started typing it in, that's the question came up.
Yeah, I think when we first just saw Donkey Mario, it was So I was like, okay, I'm glad they that's a callback. I'm glad they did a callback of the game because he had his son like, you got to beat my son, or unless we can get our army to help you out. So yeah, and it was the same the way like it was exactly how the old game was. He throwing the thing down, Mario trying to jump it and dodge it. They fight. I'm like, okay, that's definitely a good call.
And he couldn't whip his ass.
He couldn't whip his ass
until he became that cat.
Yep. Because I know of course the other Mario games where you
can power
up.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. They added that feature, in the movie where like she's like, yeah, you take this mushroom, he got bigger, and then if you get hit, you get back to regular size. So a lot of that stuff I think was cool. I think they was dirty when he was fighting Donkey Kong and he was about to get the flower, the fireball, and he stopped him from that. So then he got the other.
Did he get the fireball?
No, he didn't get the fireball.
That's what I thought. He
Donkey
got close
Kong
to getting the flower, and they didn't let him get it. So I was wondering, like, I know he got the feather.
I wonder why they didn't let him.
He's probably gonna do it in a sequel. They're probably trying to hold certain. They want to give a little bit and be like,
I don't know, bro, because that was an original. When you first play that game and you get that flower,
you dying to get that
man,
flower.
you wanted to spit that fire, bro.
Flower and that star were the two things you're trying to get all the time.
I'm telling you, so I'm surprised they didn't use that, for you to the flower for you to spit the fire. But I thought Donkey Kong was definitely a great added. I was like, man, they better put Donkey Kong here. That you can't have a Mario without Donkey Kong, because that's where we see him. That's where we first get introduced to Mario. So yeah, I thought that was dope. I thought the Mario Kart. They had to add that part.
We're gonna need carts.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, yep, there, because besides the game itself, Mario Kart is like one of, if not the most popular part about Mario. You know what I'm saying?
I love Mario Kart.
Yeah,
like,
Mario
I see somebody
Kart,
playing Mario Kart, I'll be like, bro, let me get next.
People still play Mario Kart 64 version more than the newer version sometimes. Really? Yeah, like people still go back to Mario. Even in the new Mario Kart, they added a lot of courses from 64 into the new one because it's just one of those classics, man. So yeah, when I saw when they said we got to, like you said, Kim, we got to get carts. I was like, oh yeah, they doing it. And I mean, the rainbow board, we all know about the rainbow board, and the way they wheels was turning just like in the new Mario Kart game. I'm like, oh man, this is dope.
Yeah, and how they gave Toad the big car.
Yes.
I used to look at Toad in that big old car.
Bruh, I was like, all that stuff, that was definitely good attention to detail for folks like myself that have played the games and played all the Mario joints. I thought that was cool, man. I thought that was really, really dope.
I did like the Mario Kart version. I didn't get, so the water part, what was that? Is that in the game when he went down into the water?
Okay. Water boards.
I know they have water boards, but that big ass fish or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember that.
Yeah,
so.
that's.
I figured that was for probably some people that know it a little bit more than me.
Yeah, no, they like I said, this movie they definitely did a good job of adding all of the elements that we're familiar with Mario, whether it's old or new. Like even some of the newer stuff, they did a good job of incorporating some of the newer Mario games into that as well. But
I know them damn monkeys got on my nerves for a bit. They were a little goofy. The king was a little goofy, and then the son was flexing his pecs and shit like that.
But
that's
Donkey Kong.
I know. It's a kiddie movie or whatever.
They did it for the kids.
I know. I got it. I laughed when he flexed his pecs at the end. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But because it kind of came all the way back around. But I kind of let it go.
Yeah.
Especially when they started doing the carts and they started shooting at each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that when that shit flipped upside down and he was like, "Oh shit!" And then that shit flipped and he was like, he saw he was still on it. He was like, "Oh shit, it's on now." And I've been saying it's on like Donkey Kong since I watched that damn movie, bro.
Yeah, man. And I'm glad they added like the lava portion. You know how when you about to fight Bowser, it's lava everywhere.
Yeah.
You see the skeleton turtles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that, I think all that shit was dope. How they incorporated when Mario was going to confront him. I'm like, yeah, this feels like an end of the level type of game. You know, once you see all the lava around, you're like, okay, this is it. Like we're here. Like so, I think they did a good job of capturing that moment when Mario was finally going to save his brother. I thought that was dope, and I'm kind of glad too. I ain't gonna say kind of, but I'm glad because throughout this whole movie, it's like, damn, Luigi a little bitch. But when
no, he was.
Yeah. When they was back fighting, and they had to get the star. And Mario was out here fighting, and Luigi finally came and stepped up as a brother, like, yeah, together, like we in this together. And they started fighting, and I'm like, okay, get the star. You know how it is when you get that star.
Yep.
You know how it is when you get that star. And then he grabbed that star, and they played the music too.
Yep, they sure
played
did.
the music. I was like, yes, they doing the music in there. Do. I was like, oh hell no. And that's how it is when you get that star. You just you kill everything.
That star is on like Donkey Kong, man.
Bruh. Yeah, I know, yeah. It's like it. And they even had the little plants, the same little plants that be trying to eat you. I'm like, damn, they really did it on this shit, man.
They did a lot of Easter eggs that if you play the game, you recognize, oh, I know, I've seen that, like had them obstacles to deal with while I was playing the game.
Right.
Like, and even, did you hear the part, it caught me a little by surprise when Mario first get to Mushroom Kingdom and he's walking around and then one of the people are talking to the merchant and then he says, "Does it work?" He said, "Well, all you got to do is take it and blow on it."
Because that's
the cartridge. A person who uses Nintendo 64 used to blow that cartridge.
Yep.
I missed that.
Good catch. Yeah, because I remember I was chuckling to myself when he said that. He was like, something. Oh yeah, it'll work if you just blow in it. I was like, ha. And like you could tell the little kids that shit went way over their head. Yeah. You can hear all the adults in the theater just kind of chuckling to themselves because we used to be like, oh, it ain't working.
Yep, every damn
blow it, pop it back in. That shit start working. Like, what the hell? Like every Nintendo cartridge you blowing it. So that was definitely a good callback. Now that's definitely an adult sense of humor that I think that was made for us. Like the blowing in and putting it back in there and making sure it works. But yeah, overall I thought this was, I think, like I said, it was I actually left out the movie there like, damn, I really enjoyed this a little more. It could have been it was too kiddish, but I guess they was trying to appease. Yeah, but of course, for all ages, I was like,
especially when the time they released it, because it's during Easter weekend. Like the theater was packed when we went. Like
it was
a long.
I went Saturday morning. I hit like a 10:45 show. It wasn't that bad in there. Yeah,
I caught it 2:30. I think it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
It
was packed.
Yeah, I think we went. I think we may have went later, but
it was spring break. Yeah, so
where I'm at. So, but I think that was the biggest takeaway that I had from this movie. It was the large volume of people going to see this movie. I did not expect that. I expected a lot of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was the adults.
Because bruh, it's
generational.
It's generational, bruh. It's generational. So I think they know what they was doing. And the fact that it was animation, I think I think they saw how horrible the live action 93 one. They didn't want to make that mistake again. They had to make this animation, bruh. They had to make it an animation feature film, and I'm glad they did, man. Like
I saw a dude, like it was groups of families coming in. Like we went to the movies 2 separate days on spring break, and it was packed when we were in there. and in the middle of the day. And then when we went back to see Dungeons and Dragons, it was a whole group of people just going to see fucking Mario. It was one dude, big grown ass motherfucker, dressed as fucking Mario.
Bruh.
That shit was wild. I was like, God damn,
Bruh,
people really fucking with this movie. I didn't know if they were liking it, but I knew it was a lot of people going to see it. I was like, damn, that's actually really interesting. That's why I looked up to see how much it made.
Bruh, yeah, this one touched all generations, bruh. Like,
And it's receiving a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, like I said, my only thing is just I felt it would have been cool to have a couple of little Shrek adult innuendo jokes in there, because Shrek had a lot of those.
Yeah.
So I wish it would have had some type of like Shrek-ish adult humor in there thrown in. But other than that, that's my only complaint. Just it was too kiddie-ish.
The one last thing I will say before we decide to close out, I fuck with Bowser. Bro, Bowser was funny, dog. Like him playing Peaches.
Oh yeah.
Yo, and like I said, I like the way he fetish, like even them, like when he was talking about he was going to the plan was to marry the princess, and the turtle's just like, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. Right.
We doing all this.
Like
so
we doing all this so you can get married. Yeah.
Like what?
Yep.
Yeah. And when she rejected his ass, he was hot. He was like, oh hell no, all this shit gotta go.
Yeah, they made Bowser a badass though. He definitely was a badass. Like when he first hit the scene, like just all the he was about that business, man. But like I said, I'm glad they brought like a little silly element to him, as well. He wasn't super too serious. But I know you mentioned earlier about them being a sequel. Did y'all watch the end credits? Yeah, so you didn't stay to the very end?
I don't think I did.
Wait, there were two?
It was two. So the first one, so the first one was just a little bullshit. He was Bowser.
Bowser was small.
He was small. You saw that one. So you didn't stay after.
Nah.
Okay.
I when I looked it up, it said there was only one.
So should I do a spoiler alert? Y'all want?
Might as well. Yeah.
Okay, spoiler alert. So at the last credit scene, they showed a camera pan in the sewers, and then you see a little egg. Boop.
I did see that.
You did see that?
Yep,
it was
I did
Yoshi.
see that.
Oh man.
Yep.
So when you saw the egg, you saw the little Yoshi noise, and it went off.
So there's your answer.
There's your answer right there.
Okay.
I didn't want to say it when you mentioned it.
You're
I wanted
fine,
to wait till we was wrapping up
okay,
or whatever.
okay.
But yeah, so it's definitely gonna be a sequel because he's definitely a.
He's pivotal. Like,
and I'm wondering, are we gonna see Wario and what's the other the tall guy? He's like the
skinny one.
The evil version, pretty much of Mario and Luigi. They Wario and I forgot the other one name, but yeah, I wonder are we gonna see them in the sequel?
I mean, they probably like what basically what I'm thinking is because it's with Illumination, Nintendo probably will like they're gonna make their own universe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Despicable Me, all that.
Metroid. I think they're gonna be. I think they're doing a Metroid as well too.
Metroid.
Yeah, I think Metroid is a part of it.
With
So I'm hoping it's animated.
The success of this,
and it needs to be animated. I feel like they need to keep it animated. Don't try to do live.
Yep.
Don't try to do live. Keep it animated.
I want to play it.
Man, I'm telling you.
Never played it.
You never played Metroid?
Man, bro.
Bruh, man. You missing out, bro. You missing out. Get that shit. But yeah, Yoshi. So that's gonna answer your question for the sequel.
Okay,
we're gonna have that. And I, like I said, I think we should have Wario and Waluigi. I think that's his name, Wario and Waluigi. So yeah, I think that would be dope if we have that in the sequel. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm expecting in the sequel, along with Yoshi. I think that's gonna be dope. So,
it did make me want to play Mario Kart, but I ain't got a Switch. So. My girl got a Switch, so I might just buy her. I might buy her Mario Kart just so I can play Mario Kart.
Bro, I've owned every Nintendo system, and only for two reasons. Mainly, it's for Zelda and for Mario Kart. So like those, like I've had, of course, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then after Super Nintendo, I became a PlayStation guy. After Sega Genesis, PlayStation guy, and I was still buying 64. PlayStation guy, GameCube. PlayStation guy, Nintendo Wii. So like I brought all the main systems just for Mario Kart and Zelda pretty much. So I played them all. And that same reason I got a Switch because of Zelda and Mario Kart. Yep. So they dope, man. And then Metroid. I used to play Metroid on the 64. 64 was dope. Metroid on GameCube was dope. So yeah, man, Metroid was that deal.
Yeah, Metroid was nice,
that
bro.
deal, bro. So.
Yep.
But all right, that'll do it for this movie review. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all listening. As always, make sure you follow the Dead End Gaming YouTube channel and the Frames Per Second feed wherever you get your podcast. And we will see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
Peace.